I'm not offended by anything you've said about the direction we've taken on our side of the aisle, or some of your other colleagues have made reference to it as well. But I've been trying to make the point that when you have, since the summer of 2020, the massive increase in crime that we've had in this country, the massive well, in all the crime, and I've gone through those statistics. I don't have to go in again. But when people get the idea you can just break any law, some of that's obviously going to carry over into how people treat other people, whether it's election officials or anybody else. And I know you don't accept that argument, but that's the point that I'm trying to make. Mr. Hurst, when you were U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Mississippi, you had to deal with one of the highest violent crime rates in the country, particularly the city of Jackson. At the same time, you were with Project Safe Neighborhood Initiative in the Department of Justice to help get many violent criminals off the streets. Now, under the present Department of Justice, the stated goal of the project is, quote, not to increase the number of arrests or prosecutions. Again, to emphasize the points I'm trying to make, if you're going to just tell people you aren't going to arrest them for certain crimes, this just enhances everybody's freedom. I can get away with anything. How did cooperation through dedicated initiatives help to address violent crime in Mississippi?
Thank you, Ranking Member Grassley. I almost gave you a promotion to chairman there, sorry. Ranking Member, when the Department of Justice leads initiatives, it matters. Specifically with Project Eject under the Project Save Neighborhoods banner, when we started running that program, we started hearing recordings in jail of inmates saying, the feds are in town, the feds are enforcing the law. It's a whole different ball game, is what the criminals were saying when the federal government and federal law enforcement got involved. With Project Eject, we not only had ATF participating, as General Polite said earlier, we had FBI, we had DEA, we had local and state, we had everyone at the table. So when DOJ steps up, when DOJ leads, when DOJ makes it a priority to really go after and take violent crime head on, what we see is a reduction in violent crime. Criminals respond to accountability. Criminals respond to consequences. And right now, we're not seeing a lot of consequences.
Mr. Mangiol, research indicates that the large percentage of violent crime is committed by a few repeat offenders. And so if you target them, you might substantially reduce crime rate. What does this mean for law enforcement? How might federal agencies use this knowledge to address violent crime? And if you get violent crime down, maybe we'll have less crime against election officials.
Thank you, Senator. Well, what it means for law enforcement is that if the federal government can bring more resources to bear, it can help local agencies with the use of big data to identify who the highest risks are in their communities. There is research, for example, from the Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence, which found that in Oakland, just 0.1% of the population was responsible for the majority of the city's homicides. When you can identify who those people are and bring serious cases against them and make those cases and take them off the street, particularly through federal prosecution, you can get seriously large incapacitation benefits that then spare the community of the offenses that those individuals would have otherwise committed. Research shows that when precision policing is engaged in, it can produce very, very large gains in the form of violent crime reductions.
Mr. Johnson, what difference would it make for Baltimore specifically to target repeat offenders and keep them locked up?
Well, Senator, we understand, and you said yourself, that the majority of violent crime is committed by a relatively small number of people. So if we can bring to bear technology and technical assistance resources of the federal government to identify who those individuals are, bring manpower resources to actually apprehend those people, and then seek accountability through the federal courts. We can effectively remove them from the street, incapacitate them so that they are not committing any more acts of violence. In state court, as of now, in cities like Baltimore, criminal defendants, violent criminal defendants, and individuals illegally carrying firearms many of their cases are being dropped, and still others are, even in those that are convicted, are serving small fractions of their sentence.